I'm having some technical difficulties here. I don't have Wi-Fi. I haven't had Wi-Fi for like a week. I went to London and I was hoping that it would come back by the time I came back. No. So I submitted a ticket with free. I might hear back from them in a week or two. The thing is, we don't need to get... why did I open that can of worms? The light behind me is actually a Wi-Fi enabled light, and I just realized, I can't turn that on because I don't have Wi-Fi because the router is... I don't know what's going on. Anyways, there are a lot of things going on in my life right now, and we haven't done a little bit of just a straight shooting update in a while. I stopped doing Chateau coffees with my patrons while I've been daily vlogging because it's just a lot. I did do a couple here and there, but this kind of can be one of those, I feel like. There's one thing in particular I wanted to talk about today that had nothing to do with my broken Wi-Fi, and that was my burgeoning philosophy of how to do business as a small business surrounded by big businesses, but hoping to leverage it to help other small businesses. If you haven't picked up on how I run what I do, like I really would like to support the small businesses in my community that I love and appreciate and use and eat at, etc., to the best of my ability. It's also part of why I'm trying to make sure I grow what I'm even interested in, whether that's fashion, perfume, cologne, I guess, for men. I've actually stopped using the word cologne as a whole. That's a weird cultural change. But along with these philosophical ideas, which I'll share with you here in a second, I just wanted to let you know how things are going behind the scenes a little bit. I wrote some newsletters this morning for the book launch. Molly's been really helpful in getting all of that organized and staying on top of me actually getting stuff done because it has been a very busy season. The books are printing or printed. I actually think the French printer, as slowly as he speaks, prints very quickly. So I'm very hopeful that by next week I could have copies to show you. We're trying to gauge how many to order even because we have to get it done in advance. But this is why we're doing a pre-order to try and forecast how many we will need, including at the party in June for people who want to buy it there. I don't know what the answer is. It's been very good. It's been consistent and growing, and we're going to figure it out. That's neither here nor there. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming along with that. And maybe, there's a lot of maybes in the air. Let's just leave it at that. There's a lot of maybes in the air. I might be leaving the continent for a week shortly. I'm not 100% sure if that's happening or not. It's been in the works for a year. I haven't even seen like an itinerary or tickets or anything like that yet. So expect things to continue to be a little bit crazy. On the philosophy side, since I've now rambled a little bit to catch you up, and I'm sure there's a lot more that I could be catching you up on, but that's enough for now. I've been thinking about this a lot because in the book, I wrote about a project that I have not shared publicly. My friends know about it. During COVID, I actually showed a clip in Kate's wedding video of her testing this thing. I don't think anybody would have picked up on what it was. I'll let you wait to find out what it is until the book is out. I've referred to it a bunch. It's going to make a lot of sense when it all comes out because like even the Paris passport is connected to it. And if you haven't gotten this yet, I guess I could have plugged this when I was saying pre-order your book now, but like we're running low and we only have a set number of them and we're going to stop selling them when the pre-orders stop anyways. So you have like a week to get this if you haven't already. Make sure you do that. But it's tied in directly to kind of like the philosophy of what I'm thinking in the future, also a practical test for how we might accomplish it. The philosophy that I have in mind, I'm in this weird spot where like I make content for a living, right? I make videos. I live in the attention economy. I'm not the best attention economy person. I met a bunch of influencers at an event last night who are much better at that than I am. I found myself in a funny spot because the hope is that as I get better at it and we look to the future and make some changes and add some things, there's some fun stuff, like I said, coming. The hope is that we can really grow it and leverage it into something that does grow and make more money and hopefully can actually live outside of me. One of the great dangers of doing this is that if this goes away, then like things kind of fall apart pretty quickly. So if I get sick or God forbid hit by a bus, other people's jobs are on the line now. So trying to figure out how to take care of my team first, like how do I make sure that they're good, that they're set, and well taken care of. I think we're getting there, but like, again, I'm still the greatest weakness in that, ironically. The second thing is once we get good, how do we continue to help our friends, the local, like actual local businesses, especially because like where the money comes from, whether it's sponsorships, obviously we have revenue. I shared how I make money in a video a while back. There are multiple revenue streams that come in. Your support on my patrons are a huge leg of the business and always have been a huge support. If you buy my guide to Paris, that's a huge support. There's so many ways. It just watching an ad on YouTube is a support, right? Like there are different ways of being a part of it. But one of those big legs then is also sponsors, big corporations, people that have a lot of money and that often bring a little bit of like moments, right? I say no to like 90% of the stuff that comes across our desk. Actually, Emily says no to most of it before I even see it. So the stuff that makes it to me like passes through her ethical filters and the way she's looking at things before it even gets to me. And then it's up to me and to trust my gut to be like yes or no. And we say no to a lot of stuff that I won't tell you about because there's just no, I don't even need to give them airtime in me saying I didn't work with them. I will say one time, this is a good one, and I kind of regret this. Black Magic reached out and they wanted to sponsor a video. They wanted me to talk about DaVinci Resolve, their editing software. And at the time I said no. I was really honored. I was like, wow, these guys like apparently think I'm a legit enough editor that they want to have me advertise their editing software. That was cool. And I said no because I was like, I don't use your software, you guys. Like, I love what you do. I appreciate you, but like, I don't think it's a good fit. That was dumb. That was really dumb because like, why? Just because I don't use it, I could play around with it, but I know a lot of people that use it. People that work for me use it. I don't have to say I use it. I can just say like, hey, if you're looking for a free solution, bing. And now I just gave them an ad for free as a result because I told you that story. Could have gotten paid for that. Anyways, the reason that I bring this up is that I think in the future, I'm actually kind of building this out in terms of like if the audience grows and this project that you'll find out about in my book, if it happens, there's a good opportunity there where you could bring in potentially a larger sum of money, right? From a sponsor, a big brand, who knows whom, then use that to continue to work on the infrastructure that supports small businesses. Because like Paris in my pocket, I don't charge anybody. Like when the, I mean, if it's an ad, I do. But when I'm giving you a recommendation of where to eat, where to drink, I should have silenced this before I started. Also, the world's largest flies are in here right now because the neighbor's cat killed a pigeon. And now they're ginormous. If you can hear it buzzing around, I'm really sorry. I'll open the window just a little bit. Hopefully it's so close. That's the most frustrating thing in the world, watching a fly crash into the window repeatedly and it's not making it out. I don't know that I have the full words for this yet, but the kind of the idea is like if down the line in working with big businesses, the sponsors that come in and buy ads, whether they're on my channel or on Paris in my pocket, end up enabling us to afford to make more stuff, right? And the cool thing is then we can turn around and shine a lens for free on local businesses that we just want to support. So like if you've ever seen the interviews that I do on Paris in my pocket or the itineraries or the just one-off recommendations, that's just me telling you where I would go if I were you. Like I love this place and I would come back and here's why. If you know how I make my recommendations, you know that it's just, so we have a new intern and she's actually asked me this question, which I thought was insightful. The way that I look at it is like, would I come back and why? That's it. Like it can be a very fancy place to eat. It can be a really divey bar. It doesn't really matter as long as I can honestly tell you, here's why I would come here. The pints are cheap and the service is friendly, or like the food is delicious. It's just a little bit expensive. You know, like as long as I can figure that out. The nice thing is I'm able to support those businesses for free to them, but I'm still paying for the meal most of the time. I'm still paying to have the video edited. I'm still paying for so many things behind the scenes, right? It's a business. It's not a charity at the end of the day. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I do think in the future, like I will be open to and need to open up to certain larger sponsors, but I need to be careful, right? Because I don't want to represent the wrong brands, partner with the wrong people. I have made some partnerships in the last year that I regretted, not because they're necessarily a bad company or anything, but the way that they ended up treating us or the way that things went. I've learned a lot about this over the last few years as sponsors have become more of a thing. But that is kind of the philosophy behind it, is how do you leverage the support of these bigger sponsors to then actively support smaller businesses, right? I don't really want to name names like as I'm thinking this out loud because you just never know who's listening, obviously. I don't mind that if a massive corporation hears this and still wants to give me money, that would be the hope. I just want to be transparent with you and everybody involved, I guess, that I want to leave this place better than I found it. I'm trying to be a little bit more money motivated because I've just never been money motivated. I'm a little bit too much of an artiste at that level. So I'm learning. And what's really making me learn hard and fast is having people that rely on me for their paychecks, especially. There are stories in the book about that as well, about the stress induced by not having money to pay people. It's a horrible feeling, and I never want to do that again. I obviously do need to get better at paying myself, etc. But like, I still have this long-term idea of like, if we succeed at all this, like money will come and like I will have enough. And all I'm really looking to have is enough. I would love to level up in some areas of my life for sure. I think that's perfectly fine and normal. I've dealt with a lot of the shame around money through therapy, etc. If I can then become a little more money motivated in the spirit of wanting to make cool stuff, like to continue to build new projects, more fun stuff to give to you, but also to use those projects and to use everything that's coming in to support these local businesses that are struggling, or that it's just hard. Having a business in France is really hard. I know firsthand. I'm hoping that I'm in a position sooner than later to be offering even more support in all the ways that I can. But that's kind of a guiding philosophy. I have a bunch. I thought about this when we were at the pre-launch party, and it was a really wonderful group of people that came together. Thank you for everybody who showed up. Doubly thank you to everybody who helped put it on. I was sitting on stage with Paul, and the phrase that came to mind was, "Not all profit is money." And I think that there's something really beautiful about investing in a community, in other people. There's like a spiritual profit. We haven't made any money on the book, basically. Thankfully, we're spending everything we're making to, like, create them and promote them. These parties are very expensive, for example, but it's so worth it because, like, giving people an opportunity to come together, to meet each other, connect is really, really valuable. And I also think that we live in a society that's so obsessed with growth and with profit, with extracting monetary wealth, that nobody in those positions seems to really care about the people that they're affecting. Well, there's nothing revelatory in that, and I'm sure you're aware of it. For me, I'm just kind of sick of it, but I just don't want to do that. I think is what it comes down to. I just don't want to do that. I want to keep building. I have big dreams and aspirations. I have things I want to make that are going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money. So I need to go out and make that money to make that possible. I have a lot of people in my life I want to support. I do support directly, and others that I would love to support directly, if only I could afford to hire them. And then others outside of that I'm happy to support indirectly or in whatever way is possible. So that's where I think my heart really is in, and it probably sounds super cheesy, but my heart really is in that place of like, I just want to leave this place better than I found it. Specifically Paris. I feel like that is already a big enough domain in which to act. Downsizing my expectations from like somehow saving the world and just being like, not even saving Paris or anything like that, but like actually leaving some corner of it in better shape than I found it. And I think that business in the world we live in right now is not an ineffective or bad way to go about it, as long as we're thoughtful about how we do it and we don't, fall into the trap of eternal growth and paying out people who have nothing to do with the community itself. It's not the most fully formed thought, as you can tell, but I've been thinking about it a lot, and I figured, I'll just put this out there and see what you think, see what comes back. I want to keep dwelling on this because as I've been building a business, and I haven't talked a ton about business stuff because I'm not sure who all's interested in it, although today's Patron producer is Dorian, so that is really perfect. Good timing. Dorian is a good friend who's very business-minded, and we have lots of conversations about this kind of stuff. I think that there's just, with the system we live in is ethically fraught as it is, participating, it puts us at risk of crossing ethical lines. I think that it's really important to have an idea of what our values are, what we stand for, what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do, and like when and where we're willing to bend. Because simply by participating in the system, we're participating in the system, right? The meme, we live in a society. It's not helpful just to stop there. So thinking this through, being open and honest about it, being willing to take some criticism, and hopefully having a good enough idea of what's going on that we can stand by our decisions, even if we do catch that criticism, which is something I feel like I've received a lot more of increasingly over the years. But I also think that as long as I can be really open and honest about it, then at least everybody knows what's going on. Also, if I do cross a line that needs to be uncrossed, I can. Or if I need to explain myself, I can. I take it really seriously, the responsibilities that continue to add up for me right now. And as this is the format that you're watching, I think it's important to be available for a conversation about it. Even if I can't talk with people one-on-one, I need to be able to put this stuff out there. So Molly's been pushing me in particular to be thinking in these terms for like LinkedIn posts of all things. So there's a chance that I'll be thinking and talking more about business in the future. There's a chapter we're closing out right now with the launching of the book and everything that is still a little bit past focused, a little bit present focused, but probably mostly processing the past. This chapter of daily vlogging, the last 6 months that I've been doing it, however long I've been going, writing this book, building my team, there are a lot of things that are kind of coming together right now that leave me very excited to look forward, to look to the future. I'll talk a little bit more about that soon, but I think there's going to be really a big shift in that way. And part of that is trying to fully coalesce the philosophies that have guided me and drive me right now. I will only benefit from doing that because it'll help to clarify things. And I hope that it's a benefit to you as well when we come to it. And so obviously let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And I hope you can come to the launch party soon. It's very soon. I can't tell you where I may be going. Also very soon. But you'll know. When it happens, you'll know. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm going to try and get my Wi-Fi to work again. I don't know how I'm going to upload this. I'm going to have to go. There's other Wi-Fi elsewhere, but oh my God.